Hey everybody, this is going to be a very important video because I have it working and I want to bring up our whiteboard to talk about our journey together with this idea of a testbed as a model, right? We took our YAML file, which is the key component to connect to our topology using pyATS. We made a model out of it, we made the migrations, and then we migrated it into the database, which gave us the ability to present it to the admin panel. And then once it was in our admin panel, we could populate the database through the admin panel and add our device. We then worked on our views, and we have all these nice user views, minus the form. We still have to make a form the users can fill out from the front end to populate the database. But now we've moved into this, the key, the dynamic jobs. All right, so how was this done? This took a lot of effort, and there's no real how-to guide. So here's how I did it, and let me show you the key documentation that I used. And I'm going to turn the magnifying glass on. And what I have is this under the pyATS documentation on their documentation page. We want to find the creation of a topology. And if we scroll down to the bottom of this page, way down to the bottom, they talk about manual creation. If needed, you can always create or manipulate testbed objects manually. And they talk about this is a better option when you need to add or remove testbed components on the fly, which is sort of what we want to do. We don't want a static YAML file. We want to be able to do something like this. And this is what I've taken. I took this code and I rearranged it to match my use case. Now let's switch into my code, all right? So where did my code go? So what I have is, let me point out a few things. So we'll work backwards. In our views, first I had to change something in our view, our on-demand view. And what you can see now is that our on-demand view, I've changed it to say ACL all instead of just ACL. I might even change this to all devices, but let's leave it for all for now. Now, you'll notice this is not passing the testbed file. We're not passing that in any longer when we push the button. All right? And then the other thing is that the testbed folder is gone. It's been deleted. If you look into my history here, there is no more testbed file. This file has been deleted. The folder is gone. So now what I need to do is update that a couple of things. I don't need to manipulate this, which is really interesting. The main Python, I did not touch this at all. I left this, which does the pyATS job, which learns the ACL, which populates our database, didn't touch it at all. What I need to change is this. For device in testbed, and I don't, where am I loading this? In the job file. And right now it's a if I show you a legacy one, let me show you ARP. Well, this is what the job file looks like, right? Join this sandbox YAML. Well, here's what it looks like now. All right, so first, I'm bringing in my, they as per the documentation, to do this manually, you need topology to bring in testbed and device from pyATS. And I'm also bringing in my model because I want to set up device list as a filter or a query to go get all for this button. Get every object in our device list. Set up a shell of a testbed. I call it dynamically created testbed. And now for each device in our device list, our query response for each record, go ahead and set up this testbed device variable with the structure required by pyATS load arbitrary. Okay, so we're still using load, but load can say, okay, they're not passing us a testbed file. Let them pass in their own variables. I join this device to the testbed, and that is it. And then instead of load, that file in the join, I'm just loading the testbed, which now has our objects, which now iterates over it. I hope that makes sense to everybody. You can rewind it if you'd like or go slower, but that's all the manipulation that I've done. And if we go through our, right, here's what it used to look like with the get differential. If I show you this, right, I've added all of the query section. Oh, I see, it's a whole new file. That's too bad. And then the views, I've just removed the testbed from the view. So very, very minor manipulation once I figured out this idea of setting up our own. This is what I knew I had to do. How to find it was a little tricky. That manual creation step document is what I needed. So now, right, you want to see this in action. Server is running. Okay, so now let's bring up, let me try to do this with the magnifying glass. This is a little difficult. All right, there we go. So it's around here, let's put it. So let's go to our local host on-demand center. And again, I've only done the one button. I've only done learn ACL, but right, we know that this button is not calling the testbed, and the testbed file has been deleted. Right, so if I click on that, check this out. There goes the pyATS job. And is my VPN up? Should be up. VPN is up. It's a little slow here. Oh no, there we go. Okay, it's just delay in the screen. Now, let me show you that I'm not cheating. If I do lay ARP, this should actually fail and say I don't have a testbed file anymore. Right? See, look, there is no testbed file. So we know that this learned ACL is working from the database query because there is no testbed file anymore. And there it goes. So that, I'm very, very proud of this work. I've come a long way personally from, I want to say pure YAML in Ansible, only YAML, to now completely Python, and HTML and I'd still need HTML and JavaScript and CSS with my YAML world of Ansible. But now it's pure Python with the SQL and the Django framework. I have no more testbed file. And our users have a database table of their devices. We can update IPs, admin passwords without doing it in a large YAML file. We can do it through Python now, through our REST API, write some code to update every password or username or whatever. Incredible. So the next set of videos, you saw me click the button to get every record. Well, what if I can click a button to only get NXOS? Or only get, right, the records for a certain host name, the records for a certain platform, the records for a certain IP address. Every field in our model now can more or less roll over to a button that the user can query and say, I only want to run this learn ACL against Nexus devices, Nexus 9K devices, this IP address, this host name. That's what's coming here. All right, we'll see you real soon. I hope you enjoyed this. Stay safe, and there's more to come.